Hi folks, we are steadily getting ready for Kubota CONNECT 2019 here, and I'm sure all of you are doing the same. But we wanted to take a minute to talk about a couple of different features that we've been getting a lot of questions about lately. There are three that I want to talk about today, and those are lists, locations, and forms. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about locations. In order to edit your location and any information about your location or locations, you just log into the back end of your site. And from the dashboard you see here, you click on Content, and then down towards the bottom, there's Dealer Locations right here. So when you click on that, it's going to bring up a list of either your one location or your multiple locations, as you see here. And to edit anything on that screen, such as, or anything about that location, like the phone number, the email address, the business hours, you just click the little edit next to it like I've done here. You've got the name that's displayed here, Irving in this case. The phone number, an after-hours phone and toll-free number are also available. There's also a spot for a fax number and a email address that someone can use to get a hold of just a generic contact at your dealership. The hours of operation are also listed here. You can change those at any time. I know that we're moving into the fall, and a lot of people's hours of operation change, so it's really easy just to hop in here and change those. We've also got address here. Note that it does place a pin via Google Maps, and so if you change the address, you just need to make sure that the pin is in the right spot. You can do that by checking the coordinates here if needed, but usually when you pop in the address, it's going to find that exactly right for you the first time. You can even change out your location image. So here we've got one that's sort of a large overhead shot of a dealership lot, but you can change that to be anything you want. A picture of your building works great, or a picture of your entire staff in front of your building, something like that. You can change that out as often as you'd like. Once you've completed those changes, you just click on Publish like you see here. And those are going to be live on your site everywhere that they're listed. So that's going to be in the header, in the brow where it mentions the phone number and the address. It's going to change in the footer in the Get in Touch section. It's also going to change on your locations pages. And it's also going to change if you made a change to the phone number, it's going to change it on the call to action, click to call button on the mobile version of your site. Another thing you can do from dealer locations is add, edit, or remove employees from each location. You do so by clicking this blue Dealer Employees text underneath the location. And from here, you're going to see a list of all of your employees. And you can click on one of these to edit, or you can click on Create a Dealer Employee to add a new person. And for this, you just put kind of a fill in the blank. You put their full name, their title, their contact phone and email address. These are optional. The phone and address are. A lot of people use them to, like, say if you have like a service technician, they just put the general phone number and the general email address for the service department as their contact phone and email address. And then the display weight you see here is an ordinal, meaning that you can rank the staff on your page in the order they show up in. So if you put a 1 as the display weight, it's going to add them the very first on that list on the page. If you had a 2, they'll be second on the page, and so on and so forth. And then finally, there's a spot to add an employee photo just by clicking Select Image and uploading it from your computer by dragging and dropping it in this box, or clicking this blue text and selecting it from your folders. For employee images, I highly recommend using a background that's pretty constant. So you don't want a lot of photos that are kind of all over the place in terms of their scales, where you have like full body shots of some people that are kind of far away versus close-up shots of others. It's best if they look as uniform as possible. So that's a little bit about the location module here in the back end. Let's talk about forms. To get there, we're going to click Content, click on Forms. And this is going to list every single form that's used on your site. That's everything from parts requests and a general contact to the service requests, the get a quote form, the trade value, and rental inquiries if you sell rentals. I'm going to click on service requests just to go over some options on how you can make changes to forms here. So to edit the form, I'm literally just clicking on the name service request here, and it's going to open up the form editor for me. So once I'm here, notice that just like pages, forms put all of their elements in their own little boxes. So I have name in its own text box here. The same with phone number, email address, the date of service requested, things like this. We also have a custom locations drop down, and this is fantastic if you have more than one location and you want your forms that you receive to be routed to a specific person at each of those locations. That's found here on the right-hand side in our custom fields and locations. So to make changes to anything, like if you wanted to say full name instead of name here, on the box that you see, you just click Edit up in the top right corner. And that's going to bring up the editor for just this box. It's currently labeled name. We can change that to full name here. We can also select whether it's required or not. So our box is already checked here for required field. But if it's not checked, then you can just check this box and it will require that field when someone fills out a form. Very easy to make changes that way. If that's the only change we wanted to make, we could hit Publish up here at the top, and this change would take place anywhere this form is used on the site. So, for example, your Request a Quote form is used on equipment showrooms and used equipment and new equipment listings all across your site. The good thing is you only have to change that form in one spot and it will change it everywhere. No need to go to page by page in order to make that change. There's a lot of different widgets you can use here, and we kind of use a mix within what you see here with the form. But you'll notice there's a regular text box, which is sort of 90% of the time what you're going to use. But you can also enter multiple choice box or check boxes for multiple selections. Paragraph text box is great for longer text. You've got a drop-down list available, a section header if your form is kind of broken up into sections like this one. It says equipment information so that we can kind of separate this on the service request. You've even got a content block if you need to give people additional directions on what to do with their form. And so all of that is good. One more thing that you can change on your forms from this screen is coming up here to the top right-hand corner under Settings, clicking that. And halfway down here, you'll see that it says Send Email Notification for Responses to, and then it has a list of email addresses. And in this particular instance, it lists our hostmaster email. This is where you change what people at your dealership receive each of the forms. So in this case, only hostmaster is receiving a form, but if I hit enter and go down a line, I can add myself if I want, just like this. And then notice that it's one email address per line. And the easiest way to check that is to click Validate Emails. You get the green All Entries Are Valid sign. That's great. If you attempt to separate the emails with a comma instead of entering one per line, when you click Validate, it's going to give you a red message telling you that they're not in the correct format. I use this every time I make changes to this form, so just a really easy way to make sure that I have my emails entered correctly and everything looks good. So once I've done that and I've changed up my form and my recipients of my form the way I like them, then I just click Publish, and again that's going to change everywhere that this form is used on the site. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about lists, and I know that some people use lists for different things, and some people may have never heard of them before, but either way, they're a fantastic tool available on your site and a really easy way to put a lot of information together in one area. So I'm going to click Content here, and then I'm going to click on Lists, kind of towards the top. And lists can be used for a variety of different things. So I have a couple of examples here, like a list of clearance items that I have that I might be just looking to move off the lot. They've been there for a while. Same with job postings. If I want to put several of my job postings together on a page, a list is a fantastic way to do that. Another thing might be like a new equipment specials or tractor packages that you have. It's really easy to create a list. You just click on the green Create a List button, and you literally just type the name. I'm going to call this one Tractor Packages. And then when I create this list, it's good to go, and I'm ready to add items. So for today, I'm going to change this up a little bit, and I'm going to make changes to the job postings. So to add items to this list, I'm just going to click on Job Postings. It's going to bring me to my list. You can see I already have something for a service technician here with some kind of placeholder text. but I'm going to click create a list item to create a new job posting. And I'm going to say something like office clerk. And then I can put things like the qualifications for this job, the preferences that we have for someone that would be doing this job. Maybe this is where you put salary requirements, anything like that. You have plenty of room to type out here. You can put things that that you want here, like resumes or cover letters or both. Anything you want can go in this field. And then when it's ready, you just click publish. And it's going to be ready to use in a list. I want to show you how to add lists to pages to kind of show you how this functions. So I'm going to go back to pages here. And I'm going to go to my employment page. So I'm going to scroll down. I believe that's under my about. I've got careers. So I'm going to click on careers to go to that page. And this actually already has my job postings here, but I'm going to go ahead and delete this and show you how to add this from scratch. So let's say you're starting out with your careers page and you only have a content block that says you want to join our team, check out our current job listings. Over here on the right hand side where you have your page widgets, you've got one labeled form, list, etc. Just drag and drop the one labeled list where you want it on the page. And then once this edit screen comes up here, click on which list you want to display and then select job postings. And then you can set these in any order you want. There's a lot of different templates you can use as well. I'm going to use expandable list because I think that's the one that looks the best on the page. So I've got expandable list chosen here. I'm going to click save. And it's going to come up with this nice little list. And when I click on the name of the position, it's going to give me more information. Let me go to the preview page and show you what I mean. So when I go here, I've got job postings, and when I click on office clerk, it's going to list all of my qualifications and preferences that I've entered in, along with what I need people to do, whether it's submit a resume and a cover letter, complete the employment application, whatever it may be. I can list all of that right here on my job postings page. I've even got a link to the employment application here for ease of use. So very simple but very effective way to use lists to organize information on your site. Well, that is all we have for this week. We are going to miss Cultivate in the next term because we are going to be live at and in person at Kubota CONNECT 2019 in Grapevine. So if you have any questions about your site, we will be there. We'll have a booth in the marketing section, and we'll have a couple of members of our support staff there to answer your questions. Thank you all so much, and we will see you soon. Take care.